December, I think it was December of 2000.
So they had to
Clear venue.
I know. You're right.
It's ridiculous.
Maybe we should go. Maybe we should go to Third Street Plaza. We're certainly not social distancing.
Yeah. Jerry.
Should catch up to us.
It's good to go? Okay. Morning, everybody. Please rise for the opening prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. Gracious God, we recognize you this morning. We are in troubled times and uncertainty and doubt. But we take refuge that your word is true and you are trustworthy. Your promises are true even in difficult times. We ask you to calm the fear and anxiety in all of us. When trouble and problems arise, remind us to always trust you through these storms of life. Teach us to seek your wisdom and become more dependent upon you. We celebrate several of our public servants today. Together, they have over 110 years of experience. We thank you for their lives and the people they have helped and been of service to. Bless them with good health, safety, and continued longevity. We pray for each resident of our county. May you meet their needs and guide them daily. These things we pray humbly in your name. Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
Good morning. We'll convene the Commissioners' meeting at this time. Ask for approval of the minutes of the previous meeting.
I'll move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. So we have a very light agenda today. We only have one item, but we have several service awards that we're going to celebrate today.
So we'll start out with
Do you
Roxanne.
want to do public comment agenda item?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, we have a public comment on agenda items only. We have one agenda item only. Any public comment on that? Hearing none? Okay, thank you. Thank you, Commissioner.
Sorry about
Yep,
that.
go ahead.
Roxanne Grieco from HR. Started working for the county July 9th, 1990. I would make her 30 years here at the county. Roxanne?
Morning, Roxanne.
Morning.
You want to step up to the podium? Have anything you'd like to say? Usually we have somebody speak on your behalf. We should have put Lauren on the spot.
Yeah, I'd actually happy to speak on her
Yeah.
behalf. You know, I've just been here a short time compared to most of my colleagues here. But what I've found in the 4.5 years that I've been here is that the HR department is an integral part of this organization. Not only does it have responsibility for making sure that all the policies, and our policy folder is about this thick, that all our policies are administered in a fair and equitable way, but also that the interactions with our employees are consistent, and again I use the word fair, so that all of us are treated the same, which is very important. In that time here, Ms. Grieco, Roxanne, has been, prior she was the deputy, and she's now the director, is a person who I've been able to rely on for honest and open opinions and recommendations on what we do. And that is critical because as someone who has to make decisions, being given information that sees multiple sides of the issue is extremely important because oftentimes we have to weigh those. And I know that Commissioner Masser has been here a lot longer than me, and I think he would probably concur that we rely heavily on the HR department to do that. As someone who, my undergraduate degree was in industrial relations, in human resources, although I never practiced as a personnel manager, I was always on the other side of the organization. I've really appreciated how much they also work as a team. Many people don't know this, but when Anne Grieco left,
And Garrett.
and Garrett,
And
yeah,
Roxanne.
I'm sorry. When Ann Garrett left, you can see the thinking here. When Ann Garrett left, that department was down a person and never filled it. So they've been operating with. Well, they had 5, so 20% less staff, and they're still pulling it together and getting things done. And I think a lot of that is a reflection not only of all the people in the department, but of the leadership of it. So for that, I want to thank you very much and tell you that I've enjoyed very much the years working with you, and I know that you've made a big contribution in these 30 years to all the people in this county.
Thank you.
I'd just like to add, because you wouldn't tell me how old you were this morning. Now think about 30 years ago, okay? It was the fall of the Berlin Wall. It was the birth of GPS. And another one was pretty, the World Wide Web got into being. I mean, that's how long you've been working for the county. I've never made any beefs about it. You know, sometimes from a small business, you know, anywhere from 5 to 20 people, you know, HR departments, we can't afford HR departments. You know, we try to wing it. And sometimes I look and say, geez, you know, to me, it's still, we ruin the workforce because of HR departments. But then as you get into, you know, your larger companies, then you can understand the value of HR. how important it is and to stop litigation. And it is incredible, the decisions that you make for us keeps us out of trouble. And we appreciate your service. And we hope you continue for another at least 60 days.
Roxanne, I've known you for over 30 years. Yeah, I was here back in '86, and remember when you started, and as an eight.
We were all in one building.
Yeah, yeah. You were up on the 4th floor of the
Yeah.
courthouse. And, you know, as an agent and then in management and now as a commissioner, so I've worked many capacities with you, and I appreciate especially your help the last 6 months through the COVID crisis. You've worked extremely hard. These are uncharted waters, and with your Matt help and Hutch, we've come along, and we continue to progress and make decisions on this crisis that we're in. So appreciate all your help and your long years of service. Thank you.
Thank you.
We have a certificate and a pen here to be COVID safe. We put everything in separate envelopes, so I'd like to hand it to you this time.
We're passing on the photos due to the COVID-19.
Next, we have from the Register and Recorder's Office, Ashley Harmon, started at the in the county July 19th, 2010, so she's been here 10 years.
Okay. Dave, would you like to speak on her behalf, and then she can speak?
Sure. Well, not only is it a pleasure to honor Ashley's service and dedication for the past 10 years, but I just wanted to thank her for her many contributions in the office, for her help. She's very helpful not only to the rest of our staff, but to me and the public. And I always put a high value on that public service, and she sets the standard for that. And she is absolutely amazing with a computer. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. She is like lightning fast. You walk up behind her, she's doing different things, and we've had to do a lot with this COVID crisis on our webpage, and I thank her for managing that. She has excellent computer skills, which I greatly admire and respect. So, thank you, Ashley. I appreciate your competency and your capabilities, and I wish you luck. See you back in 10 years. Another award. Congratulations.
Yep. Ashley, would you like to say anything?
I've enjoyed working here, and just thanks for having a nice place to work. Thanks, Dave. Doing nice things.
And thank you.
Yeah, we get a lot of phone calls, from constituents that call us because there's an issue or a complaint or whatnot. In your department, it seems like the same people come through it time and time and time again. And on many occasions, we do get calls telling us what a job people are doing, a good job people are doing. And your name has come up on several occasions.
Oh, that's good to hear.
Yeah, and that's important. And they feel very confident and, like Dave said, competent, that you're very competent at what you do. And it makes it easier for them. So Ashley, we admire that in you as well, and thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Yeah, Ashley, you do the kind of work that people just count on it being right, because when you go to find that deed right? Or you go to find something in a search. If it's not right, it's a huge problem. And I think the fact that we don't get a lot of complaints about the organization of our registry and recorder's office is a testament to us, because it doesn't necessarily happen that way in every county. So those 10 years obviously have made a contribution to the people of the county, and we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And again, we have a pin and a certificate here for you.
Okay.
From APO, we have Luke Ellison, started July 19th, 2010, so it's also his 10 years.
Do you mind if I call Aaron Geyser up also and address, I'd like to roast them both at the same time.
Roast them both,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
go on up there. Aaron, go on up there.
Okay, and Aaron, we're celebrating 20 years for Aaron.
Yes.
And for the ones that don't know Aaron personally, when he first started back in 80 or 99, Jeff Whiteman, who used to be a quick wit with our office before he retired, affectionately named him Opie after Opie Taylor from Mayberry. So he looked like Opie because he looked so young out of high school or out of college. So he called him Opie, and that has always stuck with him.
Opie's a little grayer now.
Yeah.
So I appreciate Commissioners allowing us the opportunity to recognize our two employees here for their important milestones within Lycoming County. I'm going to start off with, just to back up, they're not only both outstanding probation officers, but they both bring two different personalities to the office. Aaron Geyser has been with the county for 20 years. When I got some background information on him yesterday, he told me to say as little as possible about himself and to make it short and sweet. So with that said, I'd like you all to sit back, get comfortable. This may take a while. Aaron was born on October 19th, 1978. Just kidding. He started out as a correctional officer in August of 2000. In December of 2004, he was hired in the adult probation office. He's been a court officer for his first 4 years, and then the following 4 years he handled domestic violence cases. After that, the past 8 years he has been a mental health court officer. He now has a general caseload within our office. He's also a firearms instructor. Luke Ellison, when talking with him, he's been with the county for 10 years. When I was getting some background information on him, he handed me his resume and asked that I go over that, and he also asked to give a speech. I told him no, and that this meeting only lasts typically about an hour. He started out in the county prison as a correctional officer in July of 2010, and he has been with adult probation since October of 2012. He has been our DUI court officer since then, and he is also a defensive tactics instructor. He's active in his community as he coaches youth football and baseball. On a serious note, they have both been a valuable asset to the probation office. They make my job as a supervisor much easier. I not only speak for myself, but the rest of the adult probation office, that we appreciate everything they do.
You guys like to step up to the podium and have anything to say?
Just like to thank the administration of the Adult Probation Office and the court for employing us. During this crisis of COVID-19, they kept us working, kept us providing for our families, which is most important, and we kept the community safer, so thank you.
Thank you.
Been an honor and a privilege, got to work with some really great people over the past 2 decades, and looking forward to the future and continue to work with these great people.
Thank you. I worked directly both with these gentlemen. When Bob hired Aaron, I had known Aaron's family. I said to Bob, excellent hire, and he's lived up to his billing sense. He actually took over the assault caseload at one point, which is a very difficult caseload that Adam Glorson has now. He's worked with the mental health. He's done a tremendous job in the office. Luke, I knew I went right because I was the one that hired him. So he's done a great job, and he's got an outstanding family. And you're a pillar in the community with working with youth. You're a great example. You both have been in dangerous situations. We're thankful that you've come through those situations safely. And you have a tough job, both of you, along with everybody in that department. So we thank you for your years of service. I said this at a couple meetings. The average probation officer, the length of it nationally is 4.5 years. And it's a credit to our county that most of our agents have been there for at least 10, if not longer. And same thing with juveniles. So you guys are doing it right. We especially through COVID, you haven't missed a step. And you continue to do your job every day and protect the community. So thank you.
Commissioner,
Yeah, yes.
One thing for us sports buffs.
Yeah.
I think people should know, I think he's still the leading tackler from the Toursville High
Yep. Yep. As I would walk in the gym this past winter to watch my stepson play basketball, I would often look over and see Luke, a little younger, but all state on the wall there, and for football. And I believe you still hold the record down there. So, yeah.
You know, like so many positions at APO, they started at the prison. Warden or deputy wardens here, any of them? Okay, so you wonder, you know, we get outstanding recruits from the prisons, and they come to the APO or the NEU and do a terrific job, and we're not quite sure whether it's because they were taught to do that good job at the prison or whether the conditions are so poor that they figure, I'm going to be good somewhere else.
Let's go with the first one.
Yeah, okay. I'll agree. And it's a tribute to how, you know, you start out at the prison and you see other opportunities within the county and they take advantage of it. And, you know, you mentioned how long our employees last here. So they did a very good job. And, my hat's off to the warden as well, deputy warden.
Yeah, and they both started APO. Right, and Chris. Yeah.
You know, when I look at both of you, I see young, energetic folks, but I also see with your family here and what you've done in the community that you obviously have a lot of hope and faith in people, because you're dealing with folks on a day-to-day basis whose lives have gone off course, and you're working to try to get them on course. And I think that's probably the greatest contribution that one can make, is to try to help people who are off course to get them on course. And so I commend you for that and say thank you for doing that on behalf of the people of the county, for having that faith and that hope in constituents who, quite frankly, many of our friends and neighbors have cast aside. So thank you, and look forward to many more years with you.
You know, I want to add one more thing. This week or last week, no, it was this week, a couple incidents happened where the safety of some of our people were involved, and how those people reacted, and in hindsight, was probably incorrect. And I'm saying that because I see the adult probation 3 o'clock in the morning, 8 o'clock in the morning, 3 in the afternoon at homes. Sometimes there's 3, 4, 5 officers. And regardless of how much training we have, sometimes we don't always make the right decisions. And why? It's for the second. So, reflecting back on some of the things that happened, especially this week, you know, make sure that we continue that training and take advantage of anything out there that can protect you. and making the right decisions so that you do get home with your families at the end of the day. Thanks.
Okay. Luke and Aaron, I have a certificate and pen for you.
This is actually Zeb's.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, here you go.
From the prison, we have Zebulon Eshelman. His date of service when he started, July 12th, 2010, and this is also his 10 years.
Okay, Harry.
Thanks, Commissioners, for having us and giving us the opportunity. And on the behalf of the bail program, I want to thank you for giving us the opportunity to work in the county and grow the way we've grown. We've done a lot of good things, and tutelage under the warden Shoemaker and Deputy Warden Ebner, we've been able to do amazing things on behalf of the county and on the individuals we supervise. I want to give a nod to Chris, if I could start off with, because when we interviewed this individual, he said, "Hey, we got to take a look at this kid." And all I have to say is, good eye, Ebner. That's a little joke inside, you know that one.
Yeah.
So anyhow, when we interviewed Zeb, we had really a unique opportunity with him, and he was young, he was well educated, and he was demonstrated being a go-getter. His previous boss had told me he'll drive you nuts. He loves to create documents. And so instead of being fearful of that situation, we put it to work, and it's been a blessing to the program, as Zeb has been as well. He's been willing to not only take the law enforcement end of it, but the humanity ends of the program and work it as well. Working with the individuals, because as you all well know, there's a big component of treatment needed, and sometimes you have to step out of your usual self to deal with these individuals in that manner. And he's really come out of his shell over the years, and because Zeb is a naturally quiet fella, but he's done very amazing work for us, and I'm glad to have him, call him one of the team. Thanks, Zeb, and congratulations.
Zeb, would you like to say anything?
Thank you.
Okay. The bail program is very good and it's needed for several reasons. Obviously, to get people, when they're initially arrested, back on the street so that they can continue their employment, they can continue with their family. The ones, obviously, that need to be incarcerated, stay incarcerated, but there is an element that we need to have released that have made a bad decision, a bad choice for whatever reason. And it's important that those folks get into treatment immediately, because once they start to get the help, once they get into the court system, that's already in place. And then it makes it easier on the back end of the system with parole and probation. That treatment's already there in place, so that person can then start to make more productive decisions so that they don't come through the system once again. So thank you to all the bail officers for what you do. Again, you guys are out there, it's dangerous work. We appreciate your efforts. So thank you, Zeb.
Zeb, very unique name. So, what does it stand for? What does it mean?
It's off a road map,
Zeb, off of a road map.
North Carolina.
Okay.
Could have said it was biblical.
It is, but it's the road map.
Well, Zeb, thank you for, as I say, for the education about the roadmap. Is it a town in North Carolina?
Yes, sir.
Okay. But back to more serious things. The chairman alluded to the fact that that the work you all do obviously helps the individuals involved and also helps the county tremendously and the constituents, because when you evaluate someone and you decide that they qualify for bail release, you keep them working. They don't lose their job. The family stays together. And obviously, you feel a heavy load of having that person back out in the community because it's a lot of responsibility. So we want to thank you for taking the 10 years. I'd be curious to hear about the paperwork that did you help put together some of the charts that we see at the prison board meeting?
So,
Okay. But in any event, thank you for the 10 years of service.
Okay, so we have the correct packet, which is yours, and it has the pin and the certificate in it.
Also from the prison, we have Brian Vargo, started August 7th, 2000, with here to receive the 20-year pay.
Morning, Brad.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you. It's a privilege and an honor for me to be here today to recognize Brian. Brian is a veteran officer. He's the second highest tenured correctional officer that we have in our prison right now. Has worked his way up through the ranks and is now currently our first shift central control operator. And you don't get that position unless you've been with the prison for quite a long time. So it's a tribute to his dedication and his professionalism. Brian's the type of officer that I am proud to say works at the county prison, because he not only represents what we try and strive to do at the county prison, but he's well liked by all of his coworkers. He brings a level of humor to the prison that sometimes is very much needed, considering the fact that there is a lot of tension, and sometimes it can be a very difficult environment to work in. But it's typically when Brian's in the room, people are laughing and smiling, and he's the type of employee that I would hope that we could continue to see come through our ranks. We need people like Brian to be able to be in our facility to help train, because the future of not only the prison but the county is going to be based on the people who are working for us today. I look at the list of service awards here, and I think it's important, and I appreciate that the commissioners do this, and that we honor the people that give longevity to their careers in county government, because we're only as good today as the people that have been working for us for the last, in some cases, 30 years, in Roxanne's case. And I want to congratulate all of them. I look down also at this, and I see that there's 2 prison employees, a PRC employee, and then 2 APO employees. We've hired 4 of those people. And I'm glad that you mentioned that, because in doing interviews and in looking at people, one of the things that I try to look at is this a person that's going to be good today, but is it also somebody that may be good in the future? We know we hire some people that are only going to stay with us for a short period of time. And it may not be that they leave the prison and leave the county. I'm looking for people to move up into positions in other areas in the county. So I personally am proud of the fact that the people that are on this list, some of these service award recipients, are people that we've hired and trained and that have worked their way up and are now in bigger positions or greater positions within county government. So not only do I thank Brian for his commitment, but I thank everybody on this list, and I appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Brian, what I want to say is I've heard your name numerous times, and it's always been positive, always. And for a correctional guard to have 10 years of experience, that's an asset, because we do have a big turnover with our county corrections. And they go to Allenwood, they go to the federal system, they go to the state system, and it's an extremely tough job, whether it's local, state, or federal. I've taught over at the federal prison. It's a very, very difficult job. There's a safety aspect. You have to always be on guard. And I think the biggest asset you can have is respect. Respect of the staff and respect of the inmates. And when you have that, you can do your job effectively. You have that, Brian. You have the respect of the inmates, you have the respect of the staff,
you respect the management over there too. So that's a huge asset, and that's developed with time. Keeping your word, hearing people, not always agreeing with them, but just hearing them, hearing what they've been through, and then, you know, at times saying, listen, maybe you want to try it this way. It might work out better for you. So giving them an occasional word of advice to those who choose to listen. So you've done a tremendous job. Thank you for your years of service, and continue to be a role model for all of them.
That's 20 years, right?
20 years.
20 years. You know, I've been over to the prison on a number of occasions, and it's not an easy place to work. You know, it's not an easy place, but it's really well run. And our wardens in the past in our prison have gotten or received many awards for the way they run the facility. So to be there for 20 years is a credit to the management at the prison as well. And I'm sure as we look at Chris, see John, I see Brad, many of you started out in the prison system, right? You all worked there for a number of years. And that tradition of how we run that prison lives on. And if we don't have those 20-year people, it won't. It's also a tribute to the management there. But it's not easy having a turnover. When you hire somebody and they're only there for 6 months, and somebody, a sheriff's department, scarfs them up, and APO and NEU, it's difficult. And sometimes it can be very dangerous with having a very, very young staff there. You do it well, and Brian's an example of how well you do it, so thanks for your service.
Now, Brian, as I was listening to the warden, I thought, these are words of wisdom. And I thought, those words were triggered by his thoughts about you. And that is a huge testament to you and to the impact that you have on the people there. Because the many of the things the warden said are deep truths. And you brought all that out. You brought all that out when he was thinking about it. So thank you for the 20 years you put in, and the way you approach your work in a way that brings some humor and humanity to a situation which I'm sure oftentimes seems to lack it. And on behalf of the taxpayers and the people of the county, we want to say thanks.
Thank you, Brian. You like to say anything?
No, but thank you.
Thanks.
Great job.
Thank you.
From PRC, we have Lindsay Cannon. Her service started August 30th, 2010, and she's here for her 10-year pin.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Morning, Chris.
It's a privilege to be here today. I want to take a couple moments and back up. I've had the unique pleasure of working with all three of the individuals that have been recognized from the prison. So I want to back up. Don't worry, Lindsay. I'll try not to embarrass you either. But I want to back up. I want briefly speak about Zeb. Zeb was, you know, when he came to us and we interviewed him, I knew there was a special talent there as far as what he could do, where we were at the time when we were expanding bail, and for everything that he's brought to the table for us. It's meant a lot. It's been a pleasure working with Zeb. I enjoy always talking with Zeb about his family that he's very proud of in North Carolina, and I think you're close, Zeb. So, you know, so it's always a pleasure to talk with him about that. But his paperwork and his attention to detail, which is kind of
a stickler for me is second to none. So that's, I did want to, speak a little bit about what Zeb does. Vargo, where'd you go? Yeah, Vargo. 20 years, holy cow. I remember it like yesterday. Yeah, it was just like yesterday. Brian, we had a unique relationship as I came up through the prison. He did a lot of central intake work at the time, and it's without a doubt one of the most stressful positions in the county. Just the coming and going, and again, the attention to detail that is needed in that very stressful position. Brian is the example of what a correctional officer should be, not just in this county, but anywhere. I mean, he sets the benchmark, he sets the bar. It's been an honor working with Brian, so I did want to say that, it's been an honor. Lindsay, last but not least. Lindsay started another one of those town and county that started inside the prison as a correctional officer, and then was hired by my former predecessor to go out to the work release and become the work release counselor. So she was already in place when I made my last transition to deputy warden, and she, I think, was to me very valuable in making that transition, because from the time I got back to overseeing that in my career, 20-some years had lapsed since I was last at the PRC, where I first started my career with the county. And it meant a lot what she was doing, her organization, as far as being able to kind of help me and teach me what I needed to know about work release residences and all the caveats that we have with them, because it's a special niche that she has done well. Her care and concern and compassion for her job, though, is something that you really can't put words to. It's been we've recognized a lot of great county employees today, and everybody is special in their own right. But when you get to talk about somebody that you deal with on the day in, day out level, it's obviously been a pleasure working with Lindsay, and we had an adjustment there a couple years ago where we downsized, and between Lindsay and Carrie also, we were able to absorb that and continue to give high level of services, and for that I very much thank everything you did. Thank you.
So Lindsay, you and Carrie, I worked with you every day. Every single day, Monday through Friday, I was on the phone with you.
We miss you.
Yeah, thanks. and talking about releases and what we could do, and Chris nailed it right on the head when he said compassion and passion for your job. And you bring that to the table every day of your job. You care. You truly care. And I talk to retired people. I'm retired myself now from the county as a county employee. But before I became a commissioner that year, I ran into a lot of people that were retired to the picnics and to the retirees event. And the common denominator, they would say, when people would ask them, are you happy you're retired? Every single one of them would say it. I miss the people I work with. That's why I come to the retiree functions. I miss those people I work with every day, because they dedicated themselves, they cared about what they did, and they truly wanted to do what they did. And I miss you too. And talking with each day and doing things to help people and get them out on the streets, and hoping they would do what was the best thing so they didn't come back and see us. So thank you for your years of service and what you've done, and your sidekick there also. You've done a tremendous job out of PRC. Thank you.
Well said, Commissioner. Thanks for your service.
Thank you very much. That's another area where you kind of have a job where you hope people don't come back to see you, right? You try to get them to the point where they can move on their own and not need your services, and at the same time, you're probably always wondering whether it's going to work. But thank you very much, because you know, we need that kind of spirit that the chairman spoke about. And I want to thank you.
Anything you want to say?
Thank you.
So before we move on, this is 110 years of service that we celebrated here this morning. And that's a testament to our county employees that they truly care about what they do and dedicate basically their life to serving the public of Lycoming County.
Okay, we'll move on to our one action item, 3.1, Director McDermott, MOU with Pennsylvania College of Technology.
Commissioners, seeking your approval for this memorandum of understanding between the county and Pennsylvania College of Technology. This is for the new sign that we talked about on Tuesday. And so the MOU does specifically state that it's a 50-50 agreement on the price of the construction of the sign. The estimate that we have is $30,000, but there have been some modifications that I brought up about the digital display not potentially not being allowed by PennDOT. So that could reduce the cost, but we're still working through some details on maybe what is possible from the digital messaging in the sign. The original design was $30,000, so our part would be $15,000.
Okay.
Can I just want to add that, you know, we should make sure that the power is there to hook up digital, okay? Because in the future, we could add to that sign.
Yes.
PennDOT's rule is, they killed my sign, you know, but PennDOT's rule is 5 seconds, and it must stay, you know, the same message, and then it can switch, and nothing scrolling or flashing on the highway. So, but we got to make sure that there is a component to that sign that will add a digital element to it.
Yes, Commissioner. There is currently power to the original sign, and in this MOU, it talks about the power that will be there in the new location off the street there on the Penn College property, and that they will pay the electric bill for the sign going forward. So again, our portion is just half of the construction cost of the sign, and then if there were to be any future maintenance requirements.
And I know Scott, the chairman, said something Tuesday, but I want to thank Penn College for allowing us to move that sign onto their property and for partnering with us to make this sign, you know, attractive.
Okay. A motion to accept?
I move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, so carried. Thank you.
Thanks, Commissioner.
Commissioner comment?
I have none.
Jimmy?
No. Question?
Okay.
That takes us to public comment.
Public comment this time. If anyone would like to speak, we ask you to speak no more than 3 minutes on any particular item. And if you do so wish to speak, if you state your name and address for the record. Do we have anybody in the public who would like to speak at this time? Okay, hearing none. We have completed our agenda. Our next scheduled meeting will be on Tuesday, August 11th at 10 a.m. in the Commissioners' Briefing Room. Thank you. Have a good day.